Hello there and welcome back to another year in review, looking at our Steam replay of 2024. I did this last year, a couple of years ago, can't remember, and it's always interesting to look back over the year and see what we've played, what we haven't played enough of, and what we've probably played a bit too much of. So without further ado, let's crack in. We played 33 games across the year, of which 20 of them were new, and 2 of them were demos. I gave a couple of games a try, it seems. Lightyear Frontier, I think, might have been one, and Tiny Glade, I think, might have been the other. Achievements unlocked, 630. Can you tell that I like achievements? Across 22 of my games, I got 70 rare achievements out of the 630 overall. I don't have a problem, honestly. And this is an interesting stat, played with keyboard and mouse versus with controller. I think the only games I play with controller are Euro Truck Simulator and American Truck Simulator, so that means that almost a quarter of my gameplay must have been in those games alone. Moving on, the Planet Crafter actually topped my percentage of playtime, it seems, which I guess shouldn't surprise me too much, because I did play through that completely. Let's break it down further. So 43 sessions we played. There was a 6-day streak at one point. I'm not quite sure when that would have been. That must have been when I was doing some stuff offline, or maybe when I started speedrunning it. And I got 100% of the achievements. Interestingly, they didn't add more achievements when they added out the new DLC, even though it explores an entirely different planet, and we haven't played that yet. That's one that I still need to get into. Back to the main list, Forza Horizon 4 was actually 14% of playtime, even though that was probably only across, 1 or 2 months. That's because I was gearing up for the final month of the playlists. The festival playlist was being discontinued because the game is being delisted. I think it already might have been by now, unfortunately. So my goal with this, of the 69, very nice number of achievements unlocked, a lot of them rare, it turns out. Let's see if I can pick out my icon, the most important one of them. There. Encore. Complete all activities in a single festival playlist series. 1.2% of players have that achievement. That was the one that was going to become impossible to get because of the festival playlist being retired. And we managed to get it. It was a very ignominious end almost, because I think I was sick. I think it might have been when I had COVID or something. Because originally I wanted to do sort of like a celebratory end stream, but I think I ended up just doing a very miniature recording and posting it online saying, did it, and then just forgetting about the game and just dropping it entirely. You may notice that Forza Horizon 5 does not appear on this list, and that's because I played it on Game Pass, and we'll have to look at that year in review separately. You may also realise that I've not played these games in a long time. That's for 2 reasons. One, Forza Horizon 4, the main purpose was to get that achievement. Beyond that, it was fun, but it's also quite dated. But I was also finding with 5 that I was trying to do a video a week, at least one video a week, of the playlist content. But it was becoming too stressful, because you could never guarantee how long it would take, and I had to squeeze it into my available playtime between work and family and trying to do other stuff. And editing videos takes a lot of time, so I was finding myself doing some quite late nights just trying to squeeze in the video to get it edited. And it got to the point that it wasn't as fun anymore. Playing the game was still fun, but having that stress about trying to produce a video out of it, not so good. Also, it's a lot faster paced than the Truck Simulator games. Even though I'm using a controller instead of mouse and keyboard, I was finding my hands getting really sore, and that's a problem that I struggle with a lot. It might not be evident by some of the games that I play, but I have issues with my hands. It's come back to fibromyalgia. I thought it was arthritis. Turns out it's not that, which is, on the one hand, great news. On the other hand, it's bad news because I can't do anything about it. They just get sore. But I also have a day job where I do programming, so I need to use my hands. So my most important tool cannot be being debilitated by too much gameplay. So that means that we've had to kind of can the fast-paced racing games. It's also why I've not played any first-person shooters in a long time. I used to do the COD Zombies and did a bit of Warframe. Those are just by and by because they just involve far too many fast button presses. It's a shame, but it is what it is. On the complete opposite end of the spectrum from that, we have Spirit City Lo-Fi Sessions. Now this is essentially an idle game. This is a cozy idle game where you just kit out your room and you sit and do activities, and you can use it as a personal organizer too, because you can add a to-do list, you can add a timer where it reminds you every however many minutes to do something. whether it's just like get up and take a break. It's very cozy, and it comes with its own soundtrack. A lot of it has just really good music. I think it's copyright-free music, I'm not sure. I haven't tried streaming it because there's not much you could do. You could use it as a background for a just chatting stream though. I should probably have used it as a background for this. And as you can see, it released around April, and then I played it across May and June because I was collecting all of the achievements. You level up by spending more time in the game, just gradually over time. And then you get points, which you spend to decorate your room. It's a great idea. And then every now and then they've released new seasonal things, like there was a Halloween one and there was a Christmas one. So I've gone back in order to get those achievements as well. So it seems that's our top 3. Moving on, how we compare against the rest of the Steam community. This one's always a bit interesting. So it seems that most people don't go for achievements. 13 median achievements out of my 630. And a lot of that just is reflected by this, where most people, it seems, the median is only 4 games. I didn't think 33 was all that much over an entire year. Turns out it's quite a lot. The median of 4 games, and then the longest streak being 16. Steam median's only 6 apparently. And this could be interesting. So 19% was new releases against 15% of all Steam users. Interesting. And then we've got recent, so 71% recent favourites, so that's 1 to 7 years, whereas all other Steam users spend about half their time playing things from 1 to 7 years. And then we've got classic games. What's their definition? 8 or more years ago. 10% of my games were 8 or more years ago. I think that's probably just Euro Truck Simulator, to be honest, against 37% of all Steam users. And I think that is probably where you get the difference in stats as well. So then you've got a lot of players probably just playing 1 or 2 games that are just their favourites. So they've already got all of the achievements, and they're only playing a handful of games, and maybe only, once a day for during the week or something. Moving on to what we play. And you are what you play. So cozy, that is a lot of what I play, to be honest. And then racing, apparently, even though there was only the second game was Forza, so I don't know. I guess, does Truck Simulator count as racing? Maybe it does. Open World Survival Craft. No one who watches my channel will be surprised that that caps out at the top end there. And they've got Automobile Sim as well. And cats. Cats and Hidden Objects. Now, those are interesting ones to appear on the spiderweb, and we'll see why in a bit. Close look at your top played games. Okay, so we've already looked at this one. Planet Crafter there, Forza Horizon 4 there, and Spirit City there. But also Subnautica Below Zero, so 9% of playtimes. That came in at number 4. Sessions played 27. That's when I briefly got back into playing this game, after I hadn't played it since it released, essentially. And that was mostly for speedrunning purposes. One of my goals was to actually get a speedrun on the leaderboards for Below Zero. It never really grabbed me like the original game did. There was far too many things that kind of made the quality of life worse, strangely, in my opinion. We've got a fair bit of unfinished business in that game still, but it just doesn't quite grab me, like I said before. Unlike some of the bad characters in the game that are very keen to grab you, the game does not. The original, on the other hand, 9% of playtime. Now, this is odd. They say beware the Shadow Leviathan. Steam, the Shadow Leviathan is in Below Zero, not in the original game. Got your blurb wrong. Never mind. I picked this game back up in March, apparently. Oh, I did another, casual-esque playthrough. That's right. Check that out on YouTube. And then recently got back into doing just a bit of bingo, which is always fun. And I hope to continue that on into the new year. What have we got here? This is where it breaks down a little bit more. So we've got 6% in Euro Truck Simulator 2. That'll pop up occasionally whenever there's been events or new content being released. 42% in Enshrouded. Now that was actually quite a fun game. I quite enjoyed Enshrouded, and I'll probably play a bit more of that and might actually stream it later. It's still in early access, so I was playing it with a bunch of my mates. It is fun multiplayer, but honestly I think it's one of those ones that it really shines in single player, to be honest. The world progression that you can do as a group is fun and all, but unless you're all playing at exactly the same time, there's always going to be people that end up going too far ahead. I'm not one of those people, so I end up then kind of lagging behind, and you log in and you find that, oh, we've got this now, we've got that now. We did try and pace it out, so when we'd get to a certain point that you would beat a boss to progress further, we would wait till the end of the week and then if you could join in, we would do it together. If you couldn't, well, tough. But even within that, there's a lot of just extra tech tree progression stuff going on. The better experience, I think, is either synchronous group play or just solo play. And it is tuned pretty well that it allows solo play. Then, of course, 29% of Power Washing Simulator. I can't remember which one that was for. That might have been some of the Muckingham files. Again, that'll pop up through the year as different content was released. And then apparently we've got other games being Subnautica, Truck Simulator, Call of the Wild I logged back into for some reason, Deep Rock Galactic, and Super Jigsaw Puzzle. February, Euro Truck Simulator 2, Enshrouded, Power Wash Simulator, American Truck Simulator, and Synthwave Burnout, which is just a very cheap little game that I thought, I'll give that a try. It's not great, but it's cheap, so... And then March, 8% of the year's playtime was in March, 5% of that Euro Truck Simulator 2, 28% Power Wash Simulator. This is where I picked up Subnautica to do a big playthrough again. April, we've got finishing off Subnautica, we've got Lo-Fi Sessions released, and that was a lot of time just spent with it open in the background, and I'd have my headphones on listening to the music from that game while I was working. And it was a really nice chill way of just having a background soundtrack to coding. And that continues into May, and then we've got PlanetCraft, that released, and we dived straight in. And then 37% in other games, American Truck Simulator, Project Highrise, I thought I'd give a little bit of a go. It's kind of like SimTower from back in the day, but a little bit more, I don't know, odd. It didn't really grab me as much as I thought it might. Episode 1 Racer, I think, because I picked up on sale for probably like $2 or something, so I thought, nostalgia. Bloons TD6, and then Hidden Cats in Santa's Realm. Yeah, there's a few of those games that we'll get into a little bit later. And Panorama. Panorama is like a tile placing game, very cozy, very good way to just pass a bit of time. It seems like most of my playtime over the year was in June, 18%, with 8% of that being in Euro Truck Simulator 2 again, 11% Lo-Fi Sessions, 75% in PlanetCrafter, and then a few other things. I tried to get into Dragon Age Inquisition, tried to get into Dragon Age 2. I think I tried that first and then thought, no, this is a bit too dated. I'ma just go into Inquisition instead. And that's when Forza Horizon 4 came in. And there's the Tiny Glade demo, it's one of the demos we tried out, and Distant Bloom, which I've done a couple of videos on YouTube about. Into July, Power Wash Simulator must have had another DLC. Forza Horizon 4, we were dedicating a lot of our time into that, to try and get that achievement across that and the next month. That comes in 60% of August's playtime as well. And then Below Zero, getting back into that, and a little bit in the original as well. I was probably comparing between the two different games, some strats or something. Into September, Below Zero continues to dominate the tail end of Horizon 4, and a little bit of the PlanetCrafter. I think this might have been when I just picked up a little bit of the speedrunning again, and then American Truck Simulator, and a little bit of Satisfactory. I think that might have been when I played it for the first time. I did a single stream of about 4-5 hours or so, got a decent way, got to the point of making the space ladder, which is kind of the first massive milestone that you have to achieve in the game. 1 out of like 8 phases of it, I think. And we've been playing a bit of that again more recently. Probably going to be a bit more of that over the next year, we'll see. It's hard to know at what point the amount of effort I would have to put in as a solo player into that game will just completely outweigh the amount of time that I have to actually spend playing that game. In October, getting back into Subnautica. Interesting that now it's just like other games. It hasn't really featured a lot more. What have I got? 24% Subnautica, 8% Spirit City, and then other games. I'm fairly sure American Truck Simulator would have qualified enough to be highlighted specifically, but I guess it's only doing the top 5 that it's outlined further above. It'd be nice if it gave more of a top 10, perhaps, but then I guess most people, it seems, have only played like 3 games, so never mind. And unpacking features, that was a little stream that I did when I was in Starship looking after my daughter when she was in there. I took my work laptop in so I could play some stuff and also work remotely during the day, and did a couple of streams. The audio quality is not great, as you'd expect, but it's kind of chill. I do have those on Twitch. I have highlighted them. They might make it onto YouTube at some point. They might just be like VIP content, or just sit there unlisted or something. I don't know. They're a snapshot of time and a kind of point in life that is, I think, interesting to retain, even though I know a lot of people probably won't find it interesting to watch. And then game time tapering off through November, December. I should point out as well, I was on holiday between September and October as well for 2 weeks, so that's another reason why these took a hit. And then also just getting towards the end of the year, game time tends to taper off because work picks up, trying to close things out by the end of the year. The last few weeks has been a bit stressful. But we still managed to find time to play a bit of Euro Truck Simulator 2. That was doing the Halloween treats. Power Simulator doing Muckingham Files, Halloween, and also last summer's event. Subnautica doing some bingo, some more lo-fi sessions picking up their Halloween characters, and then some American Truck Simulator finishing off Arkansas, Dragon Age Inquisition, just chipping away a few things in the background. I did originally wonder whether to stream that or not, but then thought, you know what? I already try and stream too much. I already try and do recordings of too much. Some games I should just keep to myself. Especially since that I was just chipping away at it a little bit here and there, and a lot of it is just running around the environment, exploring stuff. I didn't like mainline the story or anything like that. My way of playing RPGs tends to be pretty ad hoc, as you will have noticed if you've watched even just like Planet Crafter and Satisfactory. I tend not to do things as I should. My mind just wants to go in too many different directions. So, a game like Inquisition, and there might be some others that pop up next year. I want to get more into more of the Assassin's Creed games. I've got a lot of them in my library that I've played not a lot of. Those are games that I would not bother streaming. I tried streaming Witcher 3 at one point, and that kind of suffered the same thing. Like, I was roaming around Valen, not really getting much further. A lot of the time the story bits are a bit slow, and like, there's not much to react to, really. It's a bit of combat, obviously, keeps it going. Maybe if I actually focused and just went through the storyline, then that could make a stream. But it's also a very saturated thing. A lot of people stream and do recordings of games like Witcher. So, yes, that's a reason to cash in on it to an extent, and maybe you get people interested in your type of content. But it's also a case of, well, oversaturated market, let's just stay away. I'll just keep that to myself. That way I can play with whatever mods and stuff and spend the time it takes to get them integrated into the game, because a lot of them just will crash. And then December. Interesting that it even says December, given the fact that this comes out only halfway through the month. But never mind. Does it go from like the 20th of November to the 20th of December? That should be kind of how it does it. We've got Subnautica in there. And then Satisfactory, because we did dive into that. There's a couple of other streams. We've gotten to the point of having coal power finally, and working on, I think we got the first shipment up the space ladder, in order to be able to unlock your coal, and there's the Fixmas holiday event on. I do want to progress a little bit more in that. I'm hoping that the stuff you unlock will not disappear randomly in an update in January. If it does, I don't know what date that would be, so that might mean that I do a lot of offline play on that, just to try and make sure that I get what I can out of the event before it goes away. Longest daily streak. Okay, so here we have the hidden object and cats. So Friday, May 3rd through to Sunday, May 19th. I think there was a Steam sale on, right? That's got to be like summer sale or something. I was playing Truck Simulator anyway, gave High Rise a go, Racer a go, got back into Bloons randomly. This is also when I started playing Planet Crafter, that's the anomaly, but then you've got hidden cats in Spooky Town, New York, London, Paris, Santa's Realm. Let's see, here we go, Rome and Berlin. So they're also kind of cozy games where it gives you just like a map that's themed, funnily enough, on likes of Berlin, Rome, New York, etc. And you have to click around and try and find the cats that are hidden. And it like paints and fills in the area of the city that you've managed to find all of the cats in, and you end up with a nice big bright vivid kind of wallpaper. It's honestly really fun. it's a fun little puzzle style of game. That's also probably where a lot of the achievements came from, because I think there was achievements for finding a certain number of cats, for finishing each level. So yeah, and there's like 8 levels per game. So timeline view, there's Enshrouded. We've kind of been through a lot of this in the graph, but it does break it out and gives you all of the titles you played, looks like, even if it was less than 1%. February, we've been through that. March, we've been through that. Oh, there's the other demo, yeah, Lightyear Frontier, and then I realised that I had it on Game Pass, so I could play it on that instead, which I also haven't played much of. It's still in early access as well, I believe, but I did do a video of just exploring the demo, and honestly, really good fun. I see they're making further updates. They make the world a lot bigger, which could be interesting. Like, honestly, I feel that once that hits full release, that could probably be a contender to the likes of Satisfactory in my estimation, because it's more cozy. You don't have the same big industrialization focus of it. It's, yeah, more like cozy farming and exploration, which is much more my vibe. So if they're making the world a lot bigger, then it'll be a bit more of a contender for that style of game, I think. Scrolling through from there, I think we've covered off most of these. Again, the Hidden Cats, Distant Bloom, gave that a go. Really enjoyed it, played it a little bit more the next month. Did a little video of it. Shishingo, that's an interesting one. So I did not play that game very much at all, but I was taking a holiday to Japan in September and October, and I saw this come up in my suggestions and thought, you know what? This could be really useful, and I should have put a lot more time into it. I did not, and it might have helped if I had, but I got one achievement from it. I got 10 photo flashcards. Obviously it's not good for learning the language properly, but it is really good for at least learning to know what sort of characters mean which things in context. So looking at a cafe or a restaurant or something like that and being able to see that is what this means. I'm going back to Japan next year in April and May, so I might play this again, and I might even do a little stream of it perhaps, just exploring around the little area that I've got. September, again, started with Satisfactory, and like we were saying, Dragon Age Inquisition, picked up just to play on my own time, and closing out the year with Satisfactory and Subnautica. Pretty much my vibe. And that's probably how January will start, because I want to play more Satisfactory to move on and, yeah, try and unlock more of the seasonal event. And Subnautica, well, bingo's a thing, and I hope to continue doing that. Well, that's all for our year in review for 2024. Hope you've enjoyed taking a look through. Maybe it's given you some ideas of games that you might want to play yourself. Wishlist anything that you like the look of. It's the winter sale right now, so it's the time to buy if you've got the time to play. Don't be like me and have so many games that you never get around to playing. I know I'm probably already preaching to the choir. But as always, thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you next time.